Greetings YouTube eyeballs, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel. ETCG1, yeah, we talk about stuff. We aren't fixing stuff here, sorry. Well, maybe your ego, I don't know. Anyway, if you're into repair videos, I will put a link in the description to the Eric the Car Guy channel. You can go there and watch repair videos. However, if you wish to stick around and join the conversation, I welcome you to do so, and thank you for watching. It was Brink5, I believe, over on my forum at ericthecarguy.com that made the suggestion. I have a suggestion box there. Yep, I do. It was more of a question. It was like, why does it seem like mechanics are always driving junk cars? And I thought that that was a really good question, because behind me, as you can see, I've got my little mini fleet here. 1993 Vigor, 2004 Element, and 1979 Ford Fairmont. The one I drive the most, the Acura Vigor. Yep, that's right. The junkiest one of them all. And it just got me to thinking when he made that post about why is it that mechanics do seem to drive just junky cars. I have a couple of theories, and I'm open to this discussion with you as always, but my theory is a lot of times mechanics get cars for next to nothing. The Vigor is a perfect example of that. Somebody calls me up, says, hey, I'll sell you this car for next to nothing. I ended up getting it for 500 bucks. For a running car, I thought that was pretty darn good. And as I've said in other videos, I know the history of it, everything else. It may look like junk, but mechanically there's, well, not a whole lot I need to do to it now. But I sort of wanted, at least for me and what I do, I want to make videos about fixing stuff. So I would really welcome a car that needs a lot of repairs to use in my videos. So the Vigor was a good one for that. The only drawback with it is there's not that many of them out there, so it doesn't apply to a whole lot of people. But yeah, you know, you've seen the videos. You were entertained by them, I hope. But I drive that one the most because I don't care about it. I mean, I do care about it, but I don't care about it. Also, I like it. But I've talked about this in other videos, the reliable POS video, that I just liked having something that I don't have to think about. I don't have to worry about somebody hitting it with a shopping cart or, you know, gravel coming up from behind a truck as I'm driving down the highway and putting dings in my paint. And I don't think about those kind of things. Another thing I think with mechanics is we spend a lot of money on tools just to do what we do. There's a substantial investment as a mechanic / technician to do that. So I think a lot of the disposable income, or the income, if you will, that would go into a car payment would actually go into tools, which brings me to another thought. And a lot of technicians, mechanics are working at repair shops, but also dealerships. And working at the dealership, you get a chance to see, you know, what the numbers actually are as far as what you get with, there's a giant bug. So you can see it. What you get with a new car purchase. And you really lose your butt when you buy a brand new car, because the minute you drive it away, if you turned right back around and went to trade that into the dealership, you would trade it in at a substantial loss. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just how the automotive world works. And as a mechanic, you have a very real sense of this. You also have a very real sense of how cars are put together. How cars and trucks, let's just say vehicles, are put together. So you have a certain intimacy with them that not a lot of people have. I mean, even as a DIYer that's done a lot of work on your own, sure, you've got mechanical experience, but there's something about doing it every day that creates a different connection. It's just a different mindset than it is like, okay, this is broke, I've got to fix it. You know, I'm gonna spend all weekend doing it. As a mechanic working as a professional, you got 6 hours, get it done. You know, within reason, you try to work towards that. And I think that gives you a different mentality when you get into cars. I noticed that after I started working as a technician for a while, I didn't relate to vehicles in the same way that I did before. It was sort of like, I had a similar experience when I went to school for special effects makeup. Growing up, I always loved horror movies. I always loved science fiction movies, that type of thing. And I was really into what they did to make those things happen. So the mask that they would make, or the appliances, if you will, or the sets that they would build, or the little models that they would build, like in Star Wars, those were all custom made things that somebody thought up and put together. And I always thought that that was awesome. So I learned how to do that stuff. But after that, I started watching movies with very different eyes. And whenever I'd see an effect happen, somebody get their head chopped off, or just different things that you'd see in movies that would involve those special effects, I wouldn't think of that as, oh, that guy just got his head chopped off. I think of, okay, how did they go through the process of making that appliance and getting that shot just right? How many takes did it take to get to that last final shot that made it into the movie? All these different things are going through my mind, and in a way it kind of ruined it because I was no longer, the blinders were off, so to speak. So it wasn't a question of me watching the movie as entertainment, but I was watching the movie as a way of seeing the art of this group of people that came together to create that film. Same thing happened when I started working on cars professionally. I didn't see them as, ooh, the car is just so awesome. You may wonder why, I get into a car with my gloves on, I've got these dirty gloves and the car's all clean, and you're just thinking, I would never do such a thing. Now, granted, that's not necessarily the best practice, but you developed a certain contempt for vehicles. And as a result, they're more like whips. They're for flogging. You just don't feel the same about it, because you go through so much angst, so much anxiety over working on these things and just getting through a day when you're doing repair, that I think when you get into your car at the end of the day, you want it not to give you any problems, not to give you any hassle, and just frickin' do what it's supposed to do. You don't care how it looks, anything else, because like I said, those blinders are off. Now, this is just my theory, my take on it. I'm sure that others out there will have different ideas, different angles on this topic, but I think it's a good topic. And what do you think? Are you a mechanic or a technician? What is it that you drive? Do you drive a brand new car? I would be surprised if you do. I have known some. I have known mechanics out there that actually really preferred to do service work. So they just got a new car and didn't want to mess with all that BS as far as something that they'd have to fix a lot. But me, I picked up a lot of just cheap cars along the way, for $500, $1,000 just for the car, fixed whatever was broken on it, and then drove it for years after that. So that's, sort of getting under the radar, so to speak. But I digress. But getting back to what I was pitching to you, are you a mechanic? Are you a technician? Do you drive junk? Do you drive good car? Do you drive old car? Do you drive junky car? What kind of car do you drive? And those of you in the DIY community, what have you seen? And how do you feel about it? And what do you think of the topic that was brought up in this video? I'd love to hear about it. And thanks again to Brink5 for bringing this up over in the suggestion box over at ericthecarguy.com. Speaking of which, if you have automotive issues, I would ask that you head over to ericthecarguy.com. Welcome video to tell you about all the things we have there to help you with automotive issues, should you have them. If you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. And I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, and stay dirty. And once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.